FBI, we need to speak with Kanika Powell.
This is the sound that would haunt a 28-year-old national security specialist for the last 5 days of her life. But the man at her door wasn't FBI, and he wasn't alone. What happens when someone with top secret clearance becomes the target of an elaborate assassination plot? When fake federal agents and phony delivery drivers stalk your every move? When you work on classified projects so sensitive that even your own mother doesn't know what you do? Kanika Powell would find out on August 28th, 2008. She was shot multiple times in her apartment hallway, her wallet and keys left untouched beside her body. No robbery, no SA, just execution. She documented everything. She warned the FBI. She emailed friends and family. She called the police. She did everything right. She saw the danger coming from a mile away. She never knew someone wanted her dead. And exactly 2.5 months later, another national security professional with top secret clearance by the name of Sean Nicholas Green would be gunned down at a traffic light. 9 bullets to the head, broad daylight, dozens of witnesses, the killer vanishing like smoke. Coincidence? The police say yes. But when you discover that both victims worked at locations that required secret clearances, and when you realize that after 16 years not a single arrest has been made, you have to ask yourself, what did Kanika Powell know that was worth killing for? What did Sean Nicholas Green know that was worth killing for? Did someone order a hit on these 2 federal employees? And why does the government insist these murders aren't connected? Tonight we're going to take you inside 2 of the most baffling unsolved cases in American history. Cases that involve fake federal agents, execution-style murders, and secrets so classified that even now, investigators can't tell you what the victims were actually working on. This isn't just a typical murder mystery. This is a story about what happens when those who protect America's secrets become targets themselves, when the very people tasked with keeping us safe can't even protect themselves from the shadows. Hello strangers, welcome back to the Strange Bar and Grill. I'm your host, JP. Today we'll be discussing the Kanika Powell case and its connection to the Sean Nicholas Green case. These cases happened 2.5 months apart and are eerily similar in some ways. But I won't hold you, let's just jump right in. Kanika Powell was born on January 31st, 1980, to her mother Judy. From the beginning, Judy described her daughter as ambitious, a quality that would define Kanika's entire life. After graduating from Largo High School in 1998, Kanika demonstrated her determination by enlisting in the Army 2 years later. During her final year of military service, she was stationed in Korea, gaining valuable experience that would serve her well in her future career. When she returned home in 2004, Kanika set her sights on the national security sector. She began working at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory, or APL for short, in Laurel, Maryland. She worked as a contract employee, proving her worth before being hired full-time in 2006. Her position required top-secret security clearance, and she worked on projects so sensitive that even a Johns Hopkins spokesman couldn't confirm her exact job title or which specific lab she worked in. What we do know is that the APL was conducting more than 400 research projects related to homeland security and other classified areas. Kanika's work involved so much secrecy that she could never discuss it, even with family. Her mother, Judy, later told the Washington Post that Kanika would occasionally leave town for a few days to pick up supplies for the lab, but she kept all the details to herself. I would ask her where she was going, and she would say, "Mom, you know I can't tell you that," Judy recalled. By August of 2008, Kanika had built a stable life. She lived alone in an apartment at the Deerfield Run complex on Mary Lane in Laurel. She had recently begun dating a woman and was planning to attend a Pride event in Atlanta, a trip she was looking forward to. According to Kanika's best friend, Ayana, Kanika was bisexual. She didn't hide it, but she didn't offer up the information either. She was very private about her relationships. It's not something she blasted all over the internet or anything, she said. Both Kanika's mother and best friend met this woman very briefly. Just keep that in mind. Now, before we jump into the details of Kanika's case, I want to introduce you another case that may be related. Sean Nicholas Green was 31 years old. He represented another bright light in America's national security apparatus. Born on August 19, 1977, Green had earned a bachelor's degree in computer science from the University of Maryland. He worked as an IT specialist at the National Counterterrorism Center in McLean, Virginia, where his contributions were considered vital to the mission. Like Powell, Green held top-secret security clearance and handled sensitive national security information daily. He was beloved as an uncle to 8 nephews and 1 niece, and colleagues respected him for his dedication and expertise. Both victims were unmarried, lived alone, had no criminal history, and were described by family and friends as dedicated professionals with normal, stable lives. Neither had known enemies or apparent motives for their murders. Now, if you're familiar with the Kanika Powell case, then you know how strange the whole series of events are. But if you're new to this case, then just sit back and listen to these details. The murder of Kanika Powell was preceded by a chilling pattern of surveillance and attempted deception that began 5 days before her death. I put together this timeline. It was reconstructed from police reports, witness statements, and Powell's own documentation. It reveals a methodical approach that contradicts theories of random violence, because none of these cases, in my opinion, were random acts of violence. They were orchestrated events. Day 1. The fake FBI agent. August 23, 2008. Saturday evening around 7 p.m., an unknown man knocked on Kanika's apartment door.
FBI, we need to speak with Kanika Powell.
Through the peephole, she saw a black male dressed entirely in black hat, black glasses, and a black North Face jacket. He identified himself as an FBI agent, claiming he needed to speak with her about a fraud case. He knew her name and flashed what appeared to be a badge. Kanika's military training and security background immediately kicked in. When she asked for photo ID, the man failed to produce any. He grew frustrated and explained he already showed a badge, but she said she needed photo ID, not just a badge. She refused to open the door. The man would get upset, turn, and walk away. As the man walked away, Kanika would run to her bedroom and look out the window to see where he was headed. And that's when Kanika heard a second voice directing him to walk in the opposite direction.
Go the other way.
She couldn't see the other man, but he appeared to be giving this man instructions. Kanika's response was swift and thorough. She called 911, and Prince George's County Police arrived within 4 minutes. Officers canvassed the apartment complex but found no one matching the description. She then called her local FBI office, where agents confirmed no investigation existed under her name. They assured her that real FBI agents never work alone. They always come in pairs, and they always leave business cards for follow-up appointments. Day 2, spreading the warning. August 25th, 2008. Still shaken by the encounter, Powell took action to protect herself and warn others. On Monday morning at 8:04 a.m., she sent an email to family and friends with the simple subject line, "Weekend." The email read, "I just wanted to share with you the most scariest thing that happened to me this weekend. Saturday evening around 7 p.m., a man was knocking at my door. As all of you may know, I live alone. I asked who it was, and he didn't answer. So once I got closer to the door and looked out the peephole, I saw a male figure that was not familiar to me at all. I asked who he was, and all he stated was that he was from the FBI and that he was looking for a Kanika Powell. It freaked me out completely because this man knew my name. He held a shield up, but no picture ID, and he never gave his name. He told me he was looking for me in regards to an investigation. I told him that I had no idea what he was talking about, and he would need to show me documentation as well as a warrant of some sort. So he left, and I looked out my bedroom window, and I saw him walking. I also heard a voice tell him to walk in the opposite direction." She continued, "The whole situation was scary and seemed so false. So because of this incident, not only did I get no sleep for the rest of the weekend, I'm trying to get an alarm system installed in my apartment. I had one in my old apartment, but I just hadn't had it transferred over to my new one. As far as everything that happened with the guy, I did call the FBI, and they told me that it was more than likely bogus because they never come to your door by themselves, and they always leave a card of some sort so that you can contact them. I called the local police as well to give them a description just in case someone is out there trying to or harm single women. She ended with, "Pass this on, ladies. This is not a fake forward. This happened to me." She signed it Kanika Powell, Special Security. Day 3. Living in Fear, August 26th, 2008. The next day, Powell had lunch with a coworker and confided just how terrified she was. The coworker later told the Washington Post that Kanika was busy working on stuff, trying to get the police involved. She was really messed up about the whole thing. Despite her fear, Powell was determined not to let these incidents derail her life. She had plans to attend a Pride event in Atlanta with a woman she had recently started dating, and she had already taken August 28th off work to get her car serviced and run errands before the 11-hour road trip the next day. Day 4. The first fake delivery, August 27th, 2008. On Wednesday evening, another man knocked on Powell's door. This time he was dressed in a FedEx uniform and claimed to be delivering a package, except he wasn't holding one. Like the fake FBI agent, this man asked for Kanika by name. When she didn't answer the door, he said he needed to get the package, but he never returned. No delivery tag was left behind. Kanika immediately recognized this as another attempt by the same group. The pattern was clear. They were trying different approaches to get her to open the door. She told her mother and friends about this second incident. Kanika's mother, Judy, offered to let her stay at her place, but Kanika refused. Her military training made her believe she could handle the situation. Day 5, the final attempt, August 28th, 2008. At approximately 7:30 a.m. on Thursday, unusually early for a package delivery, another man showed up claiming to have a package. Kanika didn't open the door, and the man left without leaving any package or delivery notice. After he left, Kanika called her mother. She was visibly shaken. She mentioned how strange it was for someone to attempt a delivery so early in the morning. She just didn't understand why they kept coming for her. What did they want? Kanika's mother, Judy, would later say that she could hear the fear in her daughter's voice during that conversation. Kanika said she wanted to get her errands done as soon as possible so she could return home before dark. Despite everything that happened, Kanika stuck to her plans. She left her apartment to take care of her errands, getting her car serviced and preparing for her trip to Atlanta. But someone was watching. Someone was waiting. At 11:50 a.m., Kanika returned home. As she approached her apartment door, she was ambushed by someone standing in the hallway. The attacker opened fire immediately, shooting her multiple times in the upper body and head. Neighbors heard her cry out, "No, no, no," before the gunmen fled the scene. Within minutes, neighbors called 911. Police and paramedics arrived to find Kanika lying in a pool of blood, unconscious, but still alive. Her wallet and keys lay beside her, untouched. She was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, but the damage was too severe. Kanika Powell died the next day on August 29th, 2008. Detective Kelly Rogers led the investigation for the Prince George's County Police Department. From the beginning, investigators recognized this was no random crime. The pattern of attempted contacts, the fact that the perpetrators knew Kanika Powell's name, and the execution-style nature of the shooting all pointed to a targeted assassination. We haven't ruled out any avenue of investigation or motive, other than that it was random, Detective Rogers told the Washington Post at the time. But privately, investigators knew this was anything but random. The FBI confirmed they had sent no agents to Kanika Powell's residence, validating her suspicions about the impersonator. Investigators examined Kanika's personal and professional life, searching for anyone with the motive to kill her. They found nothing, no enemies, no conflicts, no apparent reason for murder. Despite extensive canvassing of the apartment complex, examination of any available surveillance footage, and interviews with neighbors and co-workers, no suspects were ever identified. The murder weapon was never recovered. The case began to grow cold. Exactly 2.5 months after Kanika Powell's murder, another national security professional was gunned down in Prince George's County. On November 13th, 2008, at 5:31 p.m., Sean Nicholas Green left his apartment complex and was driving along Virginia Lane approaching the intersection at St. Barnabas Road. Rush hour traffic had Green stopped at a red light when a masked gunman in a black hooded jacket approached the driver's side of his black Cadillac DeVille. Without saying a word, the gunman opened fire, shooting Green 9 times in the head. The killer then fled on foot, making no attempt to rob the victim or take the vehicle. Multiple witnesses were present at the busy intersection, but the gunman's mask and the shock of the brazen daylight execution left police with only vague descriptions. Acting Police Chief Roberto Hilton called it one of the most troubling unsolved homicides in the county. Major Gary Cunningham characterized the shooting as appearing personal, though investigators found no evidence of personal conflicts in Green's life. The similarities to Kanika's murder were striking. Both victims worked in classified positions requiring top-secret clearance. Both were shot multiple times in targeted attacks, yet there was no clear motive, and neither crime involved a robbery of any kind. Just very weird. Now, that's all the information I have on these 2 cases, but with what we know about this case, let's get into some possible theories of what may have happened. Now, most of these theories are pulled from what people were saying online, so listen to these and let me know if you agree or if you have your own ideas on what may have happened. Theory number 1, the professional hit. The methodical stalking of Powell combined with both victims' security clearances has led many to believe these were professional assassinations. Supporters of this theory point to the coordinated effort involving multiple perpetrators in Powell's case, the execution-style nature of both killings, the lack of a robbery motive, the victim's access to classified information, the killer's knowledge of Powell's name and address. However, there are several factors that contradict the professional hit theory. The execution lacked sophistication expected from professionals. Why make 3 failed attempts at Powell's door, drawing attention and giving her time to alert authorities? Why use obviously fake covers that Powell, with her training, would immediately recognize? The second voice Powell heard telling the fake FBI agent to walk in the opposite direction seems sloppy and very rookie-ish. And I know that's not a word, but you get what I mean. As investigators noted, a professional would more than likely have ambushed Kanika immediately rather than risk exposure through multiple contact attempts. But what if they weren't actually professionals though? What if they were just contracted out by who knows who, and they were trying to appear professional by using all these covers to draw Kanika out, but they were just sloppy in the process? Does that make sense? Sometimes people watch movies and they get these ideas in their head like, oh, this is how you do it, you can be real smooth with it and be clever. So what if they weren't professionals? What if they were just contracted out by someone? And then by the time they got to Sean Nicholas Green, they gave up all the covers and all the disguises and all that and just tracked the guy, knew his route that he would probably take every day, and just waited and decided just to run up and shoot him because it's more effective than trying to knock at the guy's door and get him to answer the door. Maybe that's what they learned from the Kanika Powell murder. But I don't know, let me know what you guys think of that one in the comment section. Theory number 2, the Jason Scott serial killer connection. Jason Thomas Scott, known as the mother-daughter killer, terrorized Prince George's County during 2008 through 2009. His crime spree overlapped with Powell's murder, leading speculation about a connection. In July of 2009, police executed a search warrant at Scott's residence related to 50 burglaries and 9 armed robberies. They discovered a North Face backpack, stolen firearms, burglary tools, ski masks, and Nike gloves, police scanners, computers, ammunition, and digital cameras. Scott's known murders include Vilma Butler, 46 years old, shot and killed in her home before Scott set it on fire. Karen Lofton was 45 years old, and her daughter Carissa, 16 years old, were shot inside their locked Largo home. Carissa called 911 before dying. Dolores DeWitt was 42 years old, and her daughter Ebony was 20 years old. They were strangled in their home after Scott stole a neighbor's car. Now, the possible connections to the Kanika Powell case is Scott and Kanika attended the same high school, Largo High School. Scott worked at UPS and used their database to research victims. Guns were used in several of his murders. The crimes occurred in the same geographic area. But now, while those are some connections to Kanika Powell, there's several connections that just seem unlikely. So Scott's methodology differed significantly from Kanika's murder. He typically entered homes through unlocked windows and often attempted to clean crime scenes with bleach, targeted mother-daughter pairs, and committed crimes that included robbery elements. None of these patterns match Kanika's killing. The FedEx uniform, not UPS, used by Kanika Powell's stalker, the elaborate impersonation schemes, and the public hallway execution don't really align with Scott's known methods. In 2013, Scott accepted an Alford plea for 2 murders and received 85 years in prison. But it remains unclear whether Scott was ever questioned about Kanika Powell's murder. Theory number 3, the workplace connection. Both Kanika Powell and Sean Green worked in positions that gave them access to classified information that could make them targets. Kanika's work at Johns Hopkins APL involved Homeland Security projects, while Sean's position at the National Counterterrorism Center dealt with preventing terrorist threats. Many suggest that they may have discovered compromising information about illegal activities, been preparing to whistleblow unclassified programs, posed a security risk to unknown parties, or have been targeted by foreign intelligence services. The challenge with this theory is that the exact nature of their classified work remains undisclosed. Law enforcement found no evidence connecting either murder to workplace activities, though such evidence itself might be classified. Now, unless the FBI investigated this case, I don't think they could have really investigated this theory fully, because I still kind of think there's some connection here, because it's not easy to get top secret clearances. I've had a secret clearance years ago, and they go all in your background, check your criminal history, credit, interviewing friends and neighbors, but they had a top secret clearance, so that means they really dig into your life. And in some cases, they even make you take a polygraph exam, which also makes me believe they both weren't tied to any street stuff. It's possible, but they really do check your background thoroughly just to obtain a top secret clearance. So I don't think they were doing any shady legal dealings on the side. I think they were targeted for a reason. But let me know what you guys think of that one in the comment section. And theory number 4, personal connections. Now, despite the speculation about professional hits and serial killers, investigators cannot rule out personal motives. Kanika Powell had recently begun dating someone and was planning a trip to Atlanta for a pride event. Could jealousy or a romantic conflict have motivated the elaborate stalking? So let's dig into this a little more. So as I mentioned, Kanika was dating a new woman and they planned on going to a pride event in Atlanta. Now this trip was scheduled for the day after the day she would be shot, on August 29th. Apparently Kanika's new partner had a volatile ex-boyfriend who might have seen Kanika as a threat and possibly jealous of her. It wasn't until after her murder that Kanika's friends began to discuss this ex and the bad vibes they got from him, suspecting he may have been involved in the murder. Kanika had met this ex, meaning she would recognize him if she run into him or confronted her. So did he hire someone to kill her, or did he get a friend to kill her? Was he the voice of the person that she couldn't see that told the fake FBI agent to walk in the opposite direction? But what do you think? Do you think this is a possibility? I do find it really bizarre that these events started happening right before they were set to take a trip to Atlanta for a pride event. Almost like someone was in a rush to stop this trip from happening. The coordination between multiple perpetrators suggests a group that shared motivation. But who would go to such lengths? And why the elaborate deception attempts rather than a simple ambush? And what about Sean Nicholas Green? Why him too? Again, are these cases connected or just two coincidences? Kanika Powell's mother, Judy Powell Forrest, has never given up the search for her daughter's killer. She maintains memorials and continues to speak with media outlets, hoping to keep the case alive in public consciousness. Sean Green's sister, Stacy Green, has been particularly vocal about her frustration with the lack of progress. On the 16th anniversary of her brother's death, she posted, "Still no justice in your murder case, which means no peace for our family. I pray for you, my brother, every day." Both families have expressed feeling abandoned by the system, particularly given their loved ones' service to national security. The Prince George's County Crime Solvers maintains active rewards for information leading to arrests in both cases. Tips can be submitted through several means, by calling 1-866-411-TIPS or online at pgcrimesolvers.com, or by mobile app using the P3 Tips app. Even the smallest detail could be the key to solving these cases. Someone knows something.